Hello, welcome to the Aidan Mack Show. Oh, wow, what a crazy day. I can tell you I had a full morning of meetings. I had to run errands. I had to send mail. I had more meetings. There was a lot going on. I had everything ready for tonight. I packed for my show and to come to the studio. And when I arrived here at the studio, I said, oh my God, I forgot my flash drive. It's important. It has all my information, all the pictures that I needed for today's show, and I left it home. Oh no, what was I supposed to do? Should I postpone the show? Should I go home and pick up the flash drive and come back? So I did the best I could. I ran home. I got my flash drive. I picked it up. And I arrived here and I made it on time. I rushed, I got here, I got dressed, I got ready for the show, and I sat here. Oh wow, I could feel the energy going through my mind, but I am all right. As usual, that is what life is all about. And we have a website now. It's www.aidanmack.com. And you can sign up for subscriptions, posts, pictures, the articles that we write, whatever. So I'll put a post and it will come right to your email inbox. So you'll be the first to know about my post, which will be really nice. So welcome to my website, and I hope you start subscribing. Oh, wow. I had a thrilling meeting with the president of Gallaudet University. And she is here for deaf students all over the world. And it's the first college of its kind, first university of its kind for deaf people, and also for people who can hear, who like to study deaf language, interpreting, human services, whatever. That hearing and deaf people have access to the college. You can socialize with deaf people. You can be immersed in language and culture. And it's really the best way to go to be involved with deaf people so that you learn the language and you become accustomed to it. That's one of the best things that I can say to go. And that's in Washington, D.C. Even though people may live far, maybe a commute. It's still really important if you're interested in language immersion, language and culture. So I had met the first woman president of Gallaudet University ever since its inception. Her name is Bobbie Cordon. And I saw her speak. She was very inspiring. She stood up in front of a host of people, the deaf community. She had stood there and had really spoke from the heart. She was patient with the different questions, the different discussions, various opinions. And she was so patient working with everyone. And I asked her a hard question, and we went back and forth, and she thought it was a great question. And I was impressed by that because I would expect her to have a sense that her questions are better than mine, but she didn't. And at DC, there had been a really bad storm, and all the electricity was knocked out. But Bobbie welcomed the campus. She welcomed them into her home, and she gave them a warm welcome and made them feel very comfortable. She was really amazing, and it made me feel like I wanted to go back to Gallaudet and graduate from there. To have a woman running the campus is just amazing. I look up to her. I admire her. She's deaf. She's a lawyer. She is so smart. She's so knowledgeable about all the issues that are happening out in the community in relation to deaf children, deaf education, their needs, ASL as a sign language, bilingualism, oppression. She is very aware of that. For example, the A.G. Bell organization, headed by Meredith Sugar, fired off an email in response to a Washington Post letter about Nyle DiMarco with his interview. And Meredith Sugar said that language is only for English. ASL is not as good. There's language deprivation, etc. And Bobbie Cordon took the stage and gave her a response. about language deprivation. And she says, yes, when babies are born, there is a window of opportunity prior to whether the child has a cochlear implant or learning sign language. And there's a time frame, and that's language deprivation. And once a child is born, that they need to start learning sign right away. So Bobbie had gotten up, talked about that, wrote that in a letter response to Alexander Graham Bell Association, and said, yes, please take it seriously. This is very important. These are important issues. So she is wonderful, and I can imagine that Gallaudet University will take off because of her and her team. I'm very excited to see what she can provide for the university, what she is going to do, and I would love to graduate there. I would love to work it out, but we know life comes up. There's a lot to balance. I mean, maybe I could do it online. We'll have to see. But if you're thinking about going to Gallaudet, I encourage you to go there. I would like to congratulate my dear friend, Raymonda Azrelyant Yeh. And NASA and the White House had considered that they need to focus on women and girls to encourage them to get into the sciences and math. So they want women to spearhead that initiative and have more and more women that to show that women can do science and math and accounting, etc. So women can do it. So they selected women who can be involved in the sciences and math. So, and they selected her. They selected Raymonda. So she's just a successful woman. She has worked all the way up from internship to the position that she is in now. She has lots of experience, and I've seen her grow. I met her as an intern in the in CSD, Communication Services for the Deaf, and she is involved with the deaf community. She teaches volleyball. She does work internationally. She is an international leader. She's very, very supportive, very involved in cycling as part of competition. And she is also a mother of 3 children. And when I watch her, she is just so amazing. She works very hard to positively meet her goals, and she's a success. And that's what I admire about her. So I say congratulations for being selected. And I think that she should be recognized for her work in science and mathematics. I'm proud of you. Now, I had noticed that there were different organizations that were honoring women. And I want to add my congratulations as well, because these women have inspired me. So I would like to put them on my show. It should have happened in March. However, it didn't work out. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you who I selected for who I would like to recognize. So here they are. And I feel that they deserve recognition for being women leaders and activists in the community and throughout history. So this is Larisa Martin. She's an amazing woman. She has a kind heart. She talks about her religious beliefs, and she travels the world to provide information in relation to the Word of God. And many deaf people do not have access to spoken language, so she provides the message from God's Word to people. And she had told me a story, and that she won't give up. She wanted to meet several people, but there were some gatekeepers that weren't allowing her to talk to them. Finally, after several rounds of negotiation, she was able to get through and share her message. And she's very encouraging to women and deaf people. She has a you can do it attitude, and she could become a model, but she would rather do missionary work. and inspire people with God's word. So, and she travels around the world for that. Larisa, you rock. And here is another woman who's absolutely amazing. Her name is Latisha Porter-Vaughn. And she's a unique case. She grew up, she would speak like hearing people. She felt that she was a hearing person, but she was having some trouble figuring out certain words and phrases. And then when she was 19 years old, they found out she was deaf. She had been born deaf, but they didn't realize until she was 19. And that finding changed her life. She did some research into American Sign Language, into having hearing loss, and she's a part of the Hearing Loss Association in the Essex County chapter. So she is very helpful for children who may not know that they're deaf, who are just experiencing frustration with missing words. She gives information and support, whatever they need. She provides the information, support, and leadership to help these children be involved, and she inspires the people with information because she's able to see what is going on. She gets this immediately. And really, she is so very successful. I remember I was sitting at a booth. I had been sitting there, and Leticia had come up. We wrote back and forth, and she was very excited, very motivated to learn about sign language with the Hearing Loss Association she is in. Understand, hearing loss people are not as connected culturally as ASL users are connected culturally to sign language. So she's more aligned with hearing culture. And so understand there's a separation. But she was always so welcoming. And she understands that there's a difference between hard of hearing people and deaf people. She gets it. And she's really an amazing woman. So I applaud her for her success. And she also has a PhD degree, and at 19 for recognizing that she was deaf. Wow. And here is my dear friend, Christine CoCo Roschaert. And she's from Canada. She travels the world. She works in all different organizations to help deaf people who are deaf-blind. She is deaf-blind herself, and she has been through so much. She was born, and she was able to see at birth, and then maybe about 10 to 15 years she became, her vision was lost due to Usher syndrome. So she goes out, and she also has a can-do-it spirit. She goes out and gives lectures, and she is very inspirational to the deaf-blind community. She does the cane. She teaches independence. There's many deaf-blind people who are segregated, but she gets out there and she gets to talk to people and explain what the deaf-blind community needs. And she's a wonderful leader, and I admire her. And she has given so much to the deaf-blind community. She is a truly inspirational person and an amazing woman. And this is Loreen Sims, and I love her. She gets along, socializes with so many people. She has an amazing personality. She can talk to anyone. She's amazing. When I first met her, I was at Gallaudet for an RA workshop. I had been sitting there and watching her speak, and I was so impressed with all the topics she talked about. She was willing to meet challenges from the audience members and work with them. I was impressed. She's amazing, and she's also a performer, and oh, is she hysterical. And at the same time, she has a message. She has something that she wants to share with people of color, and also she's involved with early childhood education. She talks about bilingualism with English and American Sign Language. She goes out and exposes deaf people to language. She also talks about being a black deaf. She says that she's black deaf, not deaf black, because people see the color of her skin first. So she's discriminated based on race and then her hearing status. So she is just an amazing woman. She does so much. And this is Rose Goodman. I admire her because she is a talented writer and poet. She could write with her eyes closed. And she's just amazing and a natural storyteller as well. She tells ASL stories and she majors in American Sign Language. She specializes in that by helping people fill in the language gaps, especially if they're behind in learning language. She goes to theater. She translates from ASL to English and English to ASL. She sits down with students. She helps them to read so they're at the appropriate reading level. She'll sign what it is in English, the difference between the two languages, and she speaks from the heart. And she also supports bilingualism, English and American Sign Language. And she has given a lot to the deaf community. I'm looking forward to seeing her ASL poetry expand. And I suggest that if you see her perform, if you see her headlining anywhere, definitely go. And this is Lauren Abbott Mercier. She is with, she sponsors deaf education for students, for teachers, English, health, theater, art. She is an educator. She helps empower to the deaf community. She speaks about important issues and she talks about bilingual education, ASL and English, so people can understand both language and just take off from there. So she does so much. She's the co-founder of CODA West. It's a nonprofit national organization, and that's CODA West, and she is one of the first people to set that up. And she has this soft energy. And as a mother with 2 children, she is amazing. I see how she communicates with her kids, and she is amazing. She encourages them to thrive. So and her husband is also a performer as well, and she supports him. And I want to recognize her and all these women for doing what they're doing, for the opportunities that they are giving the world through empowerment. This is Melissa Yingst Huber. And she is wonderful. She's involved in so much. She encourages women to be better than they are today. So she helps people by being involved with different community issues, specifically empowerment. She allows people to hear that they can do it. And she's president of Deaf Women United. And she gets along with people. She has great energy. And she really cares about all of us. She is adept in working with a variety of people and different personalities, and she still maintains her friendliness. And also, she became the anchor of Deaf News, so she's out there doing her stories. And all those women I mentioned deserve recognition for their contribution to the deaf community, and not only the deaf community, to the hearing community as well. So now we have Deaf News. So let's see what we have today. Oh, Dancing with the Stars. This is thrilling. And it finally happened. Nyle DiMarco is back again on TV dancing. And here he is. Our favorite person in the deaf community, really the world, because he gives so much back to the deaf community. He doesn't have to, but he has embodied what it means to be deaf. He has a deaf heart, and wherever he goes, he is an amazing person. He knows ASL. He feels that it's such a great language, and he teaches the children to do sign. And let me tell you, the first week he was amazing. He was an amazing dancer. The second week, a little bit, he didn't do as well. But now he's back again. That third week, he just did amazing. So I'm so thrilled for him. This is Peta Murgatroyed, and her name is hard to spell in sign language, but she had gone in and met Nyle and to see if they would match as dancer, and she did not know that he was deaf, but when she went in, they met, and she found out that he was deaf. And after she left, she thought about going ahead to dance with Nyle. If he can't hear, how is he going to hear the music? How will I teach him? She wasn't sure about deafness, and she decided to go ahead anyway to dance with Nyle, and she decided to go for it. And the two of them have been dancing beautifully. They had this first week was amazing. The second week wasn't as good, but that's normal. Third week was awesome. So I'm very happy that Peta made the right decision to dance with Nyle. And I'm happy that Nyle decided to go ahead and dance with Peta. They are very inspirational to the entire world. There's a funny story. Peta had an interview, and in the interview they asked about her fiancé, Maksim Chemerkovskiy. Oh, wow, that is a hard name to spell. It's a Russian name. It's very hard. And you're lucky. People who can hear you can just say it. But if you spell it in sign language, you'll know, the person can see if you spelt it wrong. But luckily, I spelt it right. So, Peta, they asked her if her fiancé was jealous. And she said, "Oh yes, my fiancé does not like Nyle. No, I'm just kidding. They love him, and there is no jealousy." So, and what's not to love about Nyle? He is a wonderful man. He's wonderful to be around. So no, there is no jealousy, and there's no threat at all. So that's good. They are working together wonderfully. Now, what's next? Aidan Mack's Deaf News. Why I Sign. This is an amazing campaign that has just circled the globe with so many people adding videos to this. And the concern is many parents who can hear, who have deaf children, don't learn how to sign, and it's encouraging deaf parents to sign. And there's so many hearing parents who do not know how to sign, and they just focus on an audiological view of their child. However, sign language has so much to it, and there's a campaign to get the word out, and people are sharing. And a lot of people watching, particularly hearing parents, are seeing so many good reasons why deaf people sign. So I want to thank Stacy Abram, and she's one of the people who got the message out, and she was able to start spreading this. And she has hearing parents, and she was born deaf. The whole family learned ASL. They're still learning to this day. She's an adult. She communicates with her daughter, and it's really amazing to see. And her parents sign, and it truly is a wonderful thing. I believe all parents should learn how to sign to communicate with their deaf children. So I think that she's wonderful for her success. And I've made a movie myself. Hashtag why I sign. Here's my list for sign language. Intelligence. Talent. Literacy. access, freedom, growth, opportunities. That's why I made this video. It's clear that it was very inspirational to me, their videotapes that so many people made, and that's why I made the same type of video. So we also see with the Alexander Graham Bell Association and all the negativity and the insults to Nyle and the devaluing of American Sign Language and deaf culture. And another person has appeared on the stage who's very proud, and we have the hashtag #IamDeaf. So who came up with that? Robin Horowitz, and this is a picture of him. He's a very, very successful owner of Convo VRS. So he is wonderful in this campaign, so I decided to make my own video. Here it is. Fitness enthusiast, motorcyclist, fashionista, beauty junkie, entrepreneur. Hello, welcome to the Aidan Mack Show. There you go. So, wow. So that's why I wanted to support that movement, Why I Am Deaf. It's really amazing. And I think you just saw a moment ago the basketball player, Zach Lavine. And he donated money. He donated $10,000 of slam dunk winnings to a deaf school, Metro Deaf School in Minnesota, for them to get a new kitchen. I think we need more people who are willing to donate to deaf schools. So I want to say thank you for watching my show, and take care, everyone.